Welcome to San Diego for the 1990 Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Game. We're at the San Diego Sports Arena, home of the perennial MISL champions, the San Diego Sockers. Good evening, I'm Bob Carpenter. Welcome to the 1990 Classic. 11 first-time All-Stars on the field here this evening, but for the first time ever not on the field, the Lord of the Great Indoors, Steve Jungle, of course, with San Diego. And we do, though, have a three-time All-Star with the St. Louis Steamers with us, and that's Ty Keogh. And Ty, talk about firepower. The West has plenty of it, all playing on the same line together tonight.
The West have explosiveness. They've got mega tonnage. You look at Preki, a great goal scorer. He led the league last year. So quick out of the midfield, a tremendous dribbler. Tattoo, so good with his back to the goal. He's able to hold that position well. And Branko Segota, he's the one with the acceleration and that powerful shot.
Tattoo, the leading vote getter for the 1990 Classic, and he is proud of that.
Definitely, because you know, I worked very hard. Last year was a tough year for me, you know, and be recognized this way as an all-star game, and the players voting for me the way they did, you know, just make me feel, you know, great.
That's the leading vote getter. The all-time all-star now is Kim ROENTVED of the Kansas City Comets. After so many great years in Wichita, ROENTVED a record 9th all-star selection.
It's good to see him. He's been such a consistent performer in this league, and of course he's being honored for it. 9 times an all-star, but a guy that could come forward from his back position and score goals with that heavy right-footed shot.
The rocket, they call it, off the foot of ROENTVED. The best of the East, the best of the West here in San Diego tonight. The 1990 MISL All-Star Game is next on ESPN. MISL All-Star Game, the East meeting the West here in San Diego's Sports Arena this evening. The 1990 MISL All-Star Game is brought to you by Union Jacks, the official uniform supplier of the Major Indoor Soccer League, and by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1990 World Cup. This Bud's for you. Close to a capacity crowd here this evening. The San Diego Sports Arena holds almost 13,000. They are used to packing this place over the years. Ty Keogh for championship soccer. Ron Newman's teams have won 7 indoor titles, 5 of them in the Major Indoor Soccer League, 2 in the North American Soccer League. Almost impossible to beat for many years in this facility.
Well, it's a fitting venue for this 11th All-Star Game for the MISL. You see the banners up. There's so much tradition here. Ron Newman behind all of those championships for San Diego, but a truly festive event here when you've got so much talent assembled.
And a couple of talented officials, veteran officials, on the field this evening. Gino DiPolito on your left and Toros Cabrichin on your right, the primary referees. Mr. Nujheim in the middle will be the alternate referee on the field this evening. The team from the East in their road red uniforms trimmed in white, and there's the Western squad in their whites trimmed in blue. Chris Sobieski is the goalkeeper on the bench right there. And you would assume that would mean that SLOBO ILIJEVSKI will get the start for the West, as Cabrichin looks at midfield where Gino DiPolito puts the ball down, and we're just about set for action in the 11th All-Star Game, the 12th year of operation of the Major Indoor Soccer League. There was one year when they did not have an All-Star Game.
Keith FEARON here warming up. He'll be playing for the East. He's a newcomer to the league, came over from England, and he's been setting the league on fire. It's difficult normally for goalkeepers to adjust to this league. He's stepped right in, and he's been one of the top performers all year.
He's 4th in the league in saves with those 216. He's got a good goals against of under 4, 3.94, and he's also in the top 2 in the league in victories with 14. Not with as many victories, but with the league's best goals against at 3.34 is St. Louis SLOBO ILIJEVSKI, and he is the goalkeeper by which all others will be measured, Ty, in this league for a long time.
And he continues to amaze. Can you imagine playing a sport as demanding as this is, and to be a goalkeeper and still doing it at 40 years of age the way this man's doing it? It's just amazing.
The Eastern All-Stars will have the kickoff. Jan Goossens is in midfield. Goossens of Kansas City. He will trigger it. Carl Valentine is out there with him as well. Looks like Kim ROENTVED and Victor Moreland back on defense.
before the East here, you had 3 players in the starting lineup who are from the Kansas City Comets, so that really gives them a little bit of edge in this particular line because they can coordinate things.
Gail Mitchell, the other Eastern All-Star, he received it. He flicks the ball down and is headed away by ILIJEVSKI, who's never been shy about coming out of the goal. Taken away there by Bronco Segota. Segota of the soccer switches it nicely. Clavijo running on it. Fernando Clavijo of St. Louis, and it's bumped away by FEARON into the corner. Clavijo with a chance to center around the boards. A tip by Segota. And alertly, FEARON there to pounce on it. Bronco Segota's quickness, dangerous in the goal mouth.
Segota always a man to watch there. Just a burst of speed got him into the open and nearly shook that ball loose. Speaking of a burst, Kim ROENTVED to midfield. Jan Goossens let the ball play down into the corner. It's Kevin Crow against ROENTVED. ILIJEVSKI up with it, and SLOBO goes left side. Ball bumped up the field. Tattoo with a 2-on-1. To his left is Segota. The ball is switched over there and backtracking. Nice Cleveland. Taken away, and here comes Tattoo. Leading a 3-on-2, angles it left side, and the shot is good. It's George Fernandez of San Diego. George Fernandez, obviously a fan favorite here in San Diego. It's Tattoo, dishes the ball off to him. A good overlapping run down the left side, and he just places it so well with the left foot to the opposite side. FEARON trying to cut the angle, was not able to get over in time. And look at George Fernandez. He's just loving this. He's in front of his hometown crowd. Fernandez born in Hawaii, but he's made Southern California his home. He played with the Los Angeles team previously. He's come to San Diego here, a crowd favorite, an unsung hero for this team as a defender, now being recognized as an all-star. He gets that shot to the opposite side, places it so well. James was sprinting back, trying to slide to put a block on it, was not there in time.
And a pretty good finish by a guy in his all-star debut who's only scored 3 goals on the year. He takes only 3 minutes and 29 seconds to score here this evening. Fernandez from Tattoo, and Early, the West, with the lead. Ingram, top of the circle, to his left. Ernie James staying right in front of him. Crow bumps it ahead. Tattoo backing in. Gets it back. A weak shot. He had his back to the goal almost. And laying on the turf, he helps get possession back. And a wicket by Clavijo. Oh, what a shot. St. Louis, his 3rd all-star goal, a rocket from way out.
And you hear the reception he gets from the San Diego crowd. He's a former San Diego Soccer, now playing with the St. Louis Storm, but this is a blistering left-footed shot. The ball pops out. His Tattoo was battling for it on the ground. Clavijo makes the move to his left, just blasts the ball past Ron FEARON, and the West goes up 2-0. Here's Clavijo's move to his left, and he wallops it to the opposite side. FEARON goes full stretch, but can't get to it.
So in the first half of the first quarter, the West has struck twice. Fernandez and Clavijo, it's 2-0 for the home-standing West All-Stars.
He's the guy to watch, taking on players in the midfield to open things up and get the counterattack going.
He's making his 5th consecutive All-Star appearance. Carl Valentine angles to the left wing now, taken on by Preki there, top of the circle, and Lawson knocked it down. Was it a handball? And it looks like an intentional one, as Gino DiPolito will get him for a penalty.
All in 2 minutes. It was a dangerous situation. Have another look at it here. Valentine had cut inside of Preki. He's trying to place the ball deep into the box there. There is contact made by the hand of Doc Lawson. DiPolito's right there. Rules that it's 2 minutes for the handball.
SLOBO ILIJEVSKI as Doc Lawson goes to the penalty box, talking about it with Gino DiPolito. We've got a shootout attempt coming up here. There's your scoring so far, Fernandez and Clavijo, but now the East with a golden opportunity by Chico Borja.
We've got a shootout. The handball did occur inside the penalty area, so it's Chico Borja one-on-one with SLOBO ILIJEVSKI.
One touch, and the shot, he scores. Chico Borja with his 3rd career All-Star goal.
Borja very cool under pressure. He's a clutch type of player, and he's gotten his team back into it here. We'll see him come in on ILIJEVSKI. He's sizing up his different options. He tries to get ILIJEVSKI to lean slightly and then goes the opposite direction. So he got ILIJEVSKI to commit and then was able to find that empty side of the goal. We'll look at it from a little bit different angle here. ILIJEVSKI stopping, hoping to cut the angle, but then started to lean down to his right, leaving that opposite side of the goal open.
Borja with the Wichita Wings and doing the job now. His third all-time goal at All-Star play. Gets his team back with an FEARON, who distributes right wing, and some room to run for Tim Whitman. Overlapping to his right is Kai Haskevy. Whitman got it back. Left point, ROENTVED will run onto it. Nothing for an attacking ROENTVED, so he goes back to midfield, shielding Segota, who commits the foul. 20 seconds remaining. A goal here by either team would be a huge factor early in this game. Haskevy, right wing corner, Kia on his back. 21 is Carl Valentine. He switches it left point. Touched there by Michael King of Cleveland. Down to 3 seconds remaining. Bertie James looks at the clock. Not enough time, and the first quarter comes to a close. Pretty well played it was here in San Diego through the first 15 minutes. Fernandez and Clavijo striking early for Ron Newman's Western All-Stars, but Kenny Cooper's team came back with a goal by Chico Borja. It's 2-1 for the West. We'll get ready for the second quarter at the 1990 MISL All-Star game. Here at the 1990 MISL All-Star game in San Diego, the West on top by a score of 2-1 with Ron Newman at the helm. And Ron always has some innovative ideas about this game, doesn't he?
And some controversial ideas. He's thrown out a little idea here where he proposes to have an MISL All-Star team. Only American players play against the U.S. national team, which is going to participate in the World Cup in Italy this June, and saying that they should play a series of 3 games would be good preparation for the U.S. team. But he's also saying that the team that wins the series should maybe be the one that represents the United States when they go to Italy. So we talked to him a little bit about that idea before the game.
Well, I think if we played, I think the best American players are in our league, and if we were to play the best of 3 games against the national team, it's a win-win situation, Ty, because if they beat us, of course they've had at least 2 very competitive games going into the World Cup. If we win, then obviously we'll be sending a better team to the World Cup in Italy, and I think we can all win by that, because I think we must send a much more competitive team than the one that's showing up now playing for the national team.
He doesn't pull any punches, does he?
No, he's going to hear a few reactions from that one, but it's interesting. And Ron Newman, as you said, is known to be the kind of guy who comes right out front and center and says what he thinks.
This is a colorful coach who once came out of an ambulance before a game in Fort Lauderdale to tell his fans that we're not dead yet. Old strikers were struggling late in the season. He's that kind of guy. He'll do just about anything to make an impact if he feels it's necessary. In the first period, shots on goal were 7-2 in favor of the West. 6 fouls for the guys in white and blue, and 5 for the Eastern All-Stars in red as they switch ends now. And the West team goes from our right to our left, and the long ball caught by Ron FEARON. Attack. Segota defending. Ball bumped off the boards by Mitchell, controlled by Tattoo. And on the right wing, the West on the attack now. They center it for Preki. Nicely done. Preki has Kevin Crow on the left wing, but he scores! What a rocket from Preki, and it's 3-1 for the West.
Number 11, Preki.
Preki put the hammer down on that one. A quick shot off the left foot. You'll see Tattoo actually had started this play, got it out to Segota. Some good defensive work by Tattoo, but Preki's got plenty of space. He's got Moreland in front of him. He just blasts it, and Moreland is effectively a screen for FEARON, so FEARON has a difficult time looking at it. It's a scorcher anyway. You can see him lining up, and the ball is dipping with some topspin, and it just goes up into the roof of the net. If FEARON would have had his hand on it, his hand might have gone into the goal with the ball.
Preki, his 7th career All-Star goal in 5 straight appearances, and what a shot it was. We've seen some outstanding shooting high into the net so far by the West All-Stars. Clavijo Stars. Michael King with a shot, blocked by Kia as he turned his back on the shooter. Moreland with a 50-50 ball, one at midfield, but he will be called for the foul. Moreland just stepped on.
We're having a call here, this time against the East. It looks like they had too many men on the field, and it goes back to what we were just saying. The fact is, these guys don't normally play together, so they're getting a little confused in their line changes.
Well, Moreland just stepped on, and he's telling him, yeah, but it was a good steal, even there, if there was an extra
I was
player.
the sixth guy on, right?
They have opened the door to the East penalty box, and so with a minute 30 remaining in the first half of play, the West will have a chance to take control here. They're up by 2 and could make it a 4-1 lead with a power play goal. Looks like Chico Borja will serve the penalty.
Most coaches will throw a good breakaway player into the penalty box in these kind of situations, a bench penalty, because what can happen if you do kill it and you're able to win the ball just as the man stepping onto the box, you can create breakaways this way. A man like Borja, we saw how good he is on the breakaway when he scored that shootout earlier in the game.
Segota with Preki. Right side tattoo, Gary Heel is out there with Kia. It's a potent attack for the Western All-Stars. Tattoo out on top to Preki. They're playing catch with it. Whitman is the defender out on top. Segota tried to bend one around everybody. Tattoo, Kia. Ooh, and he just hit it wide to the far post. Here's Segota with a blast just over the crossbar. 1 minute remaining in the period. Ball center. Whitman will knock it away as he clears to center. Back to get it will be Preki with help from his goalkeeper, SLOBO ILIJEVSKI. The period will end with at least the man advantage for the West. Here's Preki, right footer, tattoo centers, Savage a touch, and a nice little bump down the floor by Tim Whitman.
Tim Whitman signed by the Baltimore Blast directly out of high school. He never played any college ball, so he's been in this league since he was 18 years old.
His 10th year in the league, and he's 26. Across, oh, heel missing. Preki out on top. And Savage had a touch, another one in front. It was an empty net, but Gary Heel just could not react quickly enough. Here's Tattoo. 10 seconds left in the first half. Right side, Kia stops it. Centers. Nobody there except Kim ROENTVED of the East, and that will do it for the first half of play as he clears it down. SLOBO rifles a shot the length of the floor, but after 30 minutes of play, FEARON has been beaten 3 times by Fernandez, Clavillo, and Preki. Borja with a goal for the East, and it's 3-1 for the West halfway through the 1990 Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Game from the San Diego Sports Arena. San Diego, the West on top, couple of early goals. Then they traded goals into the net, and it's 3-1 for the West 30 minutes in. Welcome back. Bob Carpenter with Ty Keogh, and your impressions of the first half. A rather low-scoring All-Star affair so far.
For an All-Star game, a little bit low-scoring, but a spirited and entertaining game. We've had some contact out there, and we've had some good quick breaks. The West team looking very good, particularly when they break on the counterattack.
Let's have a look at some of the attacks early, and it was the counterattack for the West. Tattoo with a nice distribution for George Fernandez.
He worked it out wide for Fernandez, and Fernandez just puts it away from not a great angle, but good placement on the shot, and he's ecstatic. This is his hometown crowd, and he just loves it.
That came 3 minutes and 29 seconds into the game, and then later it was Fernando Clavillo with an outstanding play unassisted.
Well, not quite unassisted in my book, because Tattoo is the one that did all the work there in the box to keep the play alive, but Clavillo makes an excellent move to his left and then comes back across his body with the left-footed shot to put it out of the reach of Ron FEARON.
After a Doc Lawson handball penalty, it was Chico Borja.
Borja so cool here in a pressure situation. Walks in on ILIJEVSKI. ILIJEVSKI very experienced, but Borja finds a way to beat him.
That, of course, the only goal given up by SLOBO in the first half of play. And then Preki and Segota teaming up later on. A lot of skill between these two.
Well, we talked about the explosiveness of the West teams. Actually, Tattoo started the play. He got it to Segota. Then it's up to Preki. And Preki with that left-footed shot. The ball just spinning and dipping. And the screen set up by Victor Moreland made it very difficult for Ron FEARON to make the save.
That came only 43 seconds into the second quarter of play. And then it was a defensive struggle the rest of the way. Well, here we are at the 1990 Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Game, and the commissioner again is Earl Foreman. He got the league started years ago, and he always concerned about the health of this league and television packages, things like that. A chance to visit with the commissioner tonight about the health of the MISL.
Well, we're back on ESPN, which is a big plus for us, and we're delighted to be there. We've got our expansion program, I think, revved up. We're talking about 6 teams over the next 3 years. We're dealing now presently with 10 groups in 10 different cities. That speaks well for us. And I just see a great future and a rebirth of this league.
And Ty, every professional league in this country has struggled in its early stages. This one, no exception.
Well, but this is the 12th year of the league, so they've been going at it. They've provided the fans with some great entertaining soccer, some superstars. We're seeing them perform tonight. Maybe we'll see some more goals in these next 2 quarters.
All right, third and fourth periods coming up from San Diego in a moment. Halfway through, the West on top by a score of 3-1. We'll return you to the San Diego Sports Arena in a moment. Coming, the West All-Stars on top of the East, 3-1 here in San Diego. And a look at the halftime numbers in this relatively low-scoring All-Star game. At the end of the first quarter, the West was up by a wide margin in shots, 7-2. They were actually outshot in the second period, but still lead 11-9.
Well, all in all, things pretty even as both teams came out playing hard, and as I said, spirited. We've had some pretty heavy contact out there, but the West a little bit more impressive in their organization and their ability to come forward in the counterattack.
And one penalty, we must note, has been a bench penalty for too many men on the field. Our official host for this event in San Diego throughout the week is Ron Fowler, the chairman of the board of the San Diego Sockers. Of course, they've been one of the class teams of the Major Indoor Soccer League for so many years, and they've done a nice job of putting on the event here. And we had a chance to visit with him for a few moments before tonight's 1990 All-Star Game.
Very true. I think we've been very fortunate with the teams we've had in San Diego, and we feel we have a strong. We wanted the entire league to see it, and I think the All-Star Game helps the city and helps the club and helps justify why these banners are sitting up in the arena.
Well, we've been here for many events on ESPN through the years. College basketball has been played in this building. The Holiday Bowl down the road at Jack Murphy Stadium. The city of San Diego, a beautiful place to visit, and a home of champions indoors. 3-1 for the West as we get set for the third quarter of play. And as we mentioned earlier tonight, not on the field for the first time in All-Star competition, Steve Jungle, the Lord of the great indoors.
A fantastic, really an incredible career for Steve Jungle. He came into this league. He set the standard offensively in every category. He performed well for the San Diego Sockers here. He has been a part of some of their championships. In the twilight of his career, really, still playing with the San Diego Sockers, but not really a big part of the team as he has been in years past.
Billy Phillips and Ron Newman, Steve Jungle's coach, huddling here as their club on top by a couple. And as we come back for the third quarter of play, we should mention that that penalty to the East bench that happened toward the end of the second quarter of play still has 31 seconds to go, so the West will still be on the power play for 31 brief seconds as far as they're concerned. And we have had a change in goalkeepers tonight. And coming up, the MISL on ESPN, you'll see games from St. Louis, Dallas, and Tacoma, and then 4 different playoff dates as they battle toward the MISL championship. So we're proud of the fact that ESPN will be carrying the Major Indoor Soccer League down the stretch through April, May, and into June. No goalkeepers on the floor. That is Chris Sobieski of Dallas, the 39-year-old veteran, in action for the West. Pretty good goals against. That's third best in the league. And at the other end, Scott Manning, the 11-year veteran from the Baltimore Blast. And those 15 wins, best in the league. The East will have the kickoff, moving from right to left when the third quarter gets underway momentarily. Carl Valentine is out there to kick it off. And he is out of the box. And they have a man open down the left side. Savage, ball behind him a little bit. Borja cutting down the right wing, but Savage couldn't get it to him. Chico in the corner, back heel, and a header for a score. Bruce Savage on a brilliant play by Chico Borja.
Well, we wanted to see more goals right off the bat. Borja comes out of the box. He's instrumental in that goal. Just an incredible goal. And just the creativity of a player like Chico Borja. Savage works it out wide. It's pushed into the corner by Bernie James, and it's a heel ball by Borja to set up Savage. A spectacular head goal, but what a setup with the heel pass. You see it again. It's Borja got his back to the whole play and uses his heel to get it out in front. Savage gets up well, places it so nicely into the upper corner with his head.
A relatively easy finish for Bruce Savage. He's been an all-star for quite a while, and that is his first all-star goal. He had an assist in his all-star career, making his 6th appearance. And what a setup by Field. Doc Lawson back to Fernandez, and now it's ahead for Preki, who fights off Dominic Mobilio. Preki being watched by 3 red shirts. He draws some attention, doesn't he? Now he's got it. Left wing. It's Fernandez centering, and a score! Gary Heel! Fernandez with a goal earlier. Now makes it a 4-2 game.
And some deft combination work as Ingram worked it in to Fernandez, and Fernandez unselfishly knocks it inside to Gary Heel. He really had Scott Manning at his mercy, pulled him out of position, clips the ball across, and makes it easy for Gary Heel. George Fernandez just eating this up. He's loving it. Goal and assist in front of his hometown crowd.
His all-star debut tie, and he's making a bid for the MVP award. A goal and an assist tonight. A 4-2 lead for Ron Newman's Western Division team, and it came with 1:30 remaining, 3rd quarter. Heel from Fernandez.
And the MVP award will be 2 round-trip tickets to anywhere that American Airlines flies.
Do they hope for the European players to win that, or the American boys? There's another goal. Segota from Zoran Karic, and the West is breaking it open. 2 goals in 21 seconds.
Well, it really is a home crowd for this West team. They're taking full advantage of it. Bronco Segota, obviously a favorite in front of this crowd. It's Karic, though, that wins the ball in the corner. He's got some space and time to operate, and he slots a beautiful pass out in front to Segota. Segota just side foots it, almost took some of the pace off the ball in order to place it into the empty goal.
Bronco Segota now with a goal and an assist tonight. Coming at 13:51, 2 goals in 21 seconds for the West. Just when the East had worked it back to a close game, the West explodes. Under a minute remaining as Savage dumps the ball into the seats on the far side. A midfield kick in for the West now with all the momentum.
What a fucking country. What a fucking country.
Kenny Cooper's team headed back to a goal. He's taken off the tux jacket. He's ready to get down to some serious work with the 4th quarter coming up, and the sleeves are rolled up as well.
Well, no coach likes to lose, and Ken Cooper probably hates it as much or more than anybody. He's proven that in his great years with the Baltimore Blast.
Well, I think their teams have reflected his approach to the game. Very hardworking, never dying. Near boards, Michael King looking to center it. Trying to work it down the floor. A kick from Segota, and picking it off the glass was Scott Manning.
Somebody nearly had to pick Kia off the glass there as he followed through and launched himself up against that plexiglass.
Dangerous kick by Borja. Gino DiPolito with the call as Borja pleads his case. Segota will trigger the free kick, and now he will go downfield as Clavijo will. On the left side, bumped into the corner by Mike Powers. Kia back to Powers at the left point with 20 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. Savage knocks it away. Here's Kia. Clavijo open on the right wing momentarily, but a hard shot on goal handled easily by Manning right in his chest. Here's Borja ahead of him. Left wing, Valentine running hard, and he dumped it behind Michael King, who was coming in from the right wing as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. A couple of late goals by the West from Gary Heel and Bronco Segota turn a 3-2 game into a 5-2 advantage with 15 minutes to go at the 1990 MISL All-Star Game at the San Diego Sports Arena. As we go to the fourth quarter of play, the West has led all the way tonight, and they've had some hometown heroics to build that 5-goal margin. George Fernandez and Fernando Clavijo in the first quarter, and Chico Borja in a shootout made it 2-1 after 1. Preki from Segota had the only score of the second quarter, and the first half ended 3-1. Bruce Savage from Chico Borja in the third made it a 1-goal game, but then 2 goals in a span of 21 seconds by Gary Hio from George Fernandez, and then Branko Segota from Zoran Karic. And that's the 5-2 advantage they enjoy now with 15 minutes to go. Scores at 13:30 and 13:51 of that play. Don Popovic is with us from the far side on the penalty box, the coach of the St. Louis Storm. And Don, of course, has coached a couple of different clubs with tremendous success in the history of this league. And Don, thanks for being with us and your impressions of this 1990 All-Star game.
Thank you. I think it's a very interesting game. I think the fans enjoy it very much. The West look like much stronger. There's some power here between Branko Segota, Preki, Gary Hio, Karic, and Fernando Clavijo, Scroll. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Very powerful team.
And your guy SLOBO played well in goal in the first half.
SLOBO played very well. I'm very satisfied with that, and I think Gary Hio played well. Fernando Clavijo did a very good job today.
Yes, he has. Great goal by him early. Kevin Crow with a near miss as the West is threatening again. Here's Brian Quinn, right wing. He flicks it left corner. Preki dueling there with Kim Rundved. Rundved centers it beyond the reach of Moreland, but Carl Valentine has it to midfield. Here's Mitchell. He's got Moreland left wing and Goosen straight ahead. Mitchell through the legs of Quinn. Angles it. Valentine to Moreland. Beaten to the ball there by Brian Quinn. And here comes the West. 3-on-1. Down the middle. Clavijo. Right side. Back to Clavijo. Can't get a shot. As the return pass from Preki was actually behind him, he had to stop his run to get control.
Clavijo breaking so quickly. He's got to be one of the fastest guys in the entire league as he gets up the field before anybody could get back in position.
Carrick a shot. Oh, what a save. Nicely done by Scott Manning. The ball actually got in behind him, but he had the presence of mind. 5-2, the West on top. A shootout coming up on a Mike Powers holding penalty at the 7:12 mark. We'll have a look at the penalty here. Watch where they're located.
Already Powers was holding him initially, and here is a situation. It's a high kick, and he's reaching around Irvine and pulling and tugging on him. So actually the holding took place outside of the box. The officials, however, if they feel that it was a breakaway that was really held back by the penalty, can call a shootout, and that's the case here as Powers heads to the box. And I was wondering whether they would go with Borja again. They've not done it. They're going to give Mitchell a chance, and it's not a bad idea because people have seen maybe Borja's moves already.
Mitchell against Sobieski, who comes out big but can't stop it. And Dale Mitchell gets the shootout home. They needed that one badly. It's back to a 5-3 score.
Makes things a little bit more interesting again. Mitchell has been a prolific goal scorer with the Kansas City Comets. He's doing well in the league right now in goals. In fact, just last week, his 300th career goal scored by Dale Mitchell for the Kansas City Comets. Here, he converts the shootout attempt against Chris Sobieski. A little bit of deception. He leans the one way, and he uses the outside of the right foot just to work it in around Sobieski.
Led the Comets in scoring a year ago, did Dale Mitchell. His 7th year in the MISL and his 3rd All-Star goal. He also has a couple of assists. He's representing the Comets for the 3rd consecutive year.
And he has represented his country, Canada, in the 1986 World Cup in Mexico. So an honor, one of the highest honors any player could have, is to play for their country.
It's 55 seconds to go. Bob Carpenter with Ty Keogh in San Diego. The East down by a couple. They've employed the 6th attacker for 2 minutes now, but unable to score yet.
You've got to be physically fit to play that 6th attacker role, because not only are you pushing up, trying to make something happen in the attack, you've got to get back and cover that goal, and as Rundved has already done on a couple of occasions.
Here's Borja to the right wing. Borja looking to center. There's a volley, nicely done by Mitchell on goal. The play was knocked out. Doc Lawson is a big force in there defensively.
Sobieski really coming up big on some saves here in the later stages.
Roentved for Valentine. He'll bank it in front. There again is Lawson. And Fernandez knocked it back into the goal mouth, but luckily the West was able to knock it away. 2:20 and counting. Roentved, left point. Borja. Valentine back to Kim Rundved. At the high pivot, working it over was Mobilio, and a shot knocked wide there. Looked like Fernando Clavillo got a piece of that one. Under 2 minutes remaining. ROENTVED for Valentine in the corner, in front. Oh, and it almost snuck in the post after a defender hit it. And Sobieski says, we need time.
He needs to take a breather. You see him huffing and puffing. All the action's been directly in front of him. It's a question of concentration, too, as a goalkeeper. When you've got all this action, you've got to stay totally focused, which is what Sobieski has done. He's been so cool under fire here.
Here's Sobieski, number 3 in the league with 12 wins. He's a 2-time MVP of Dallas in 86 and 88. Played with Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Polish national team. He has been around in his 39 years. So has Ron NEWMAN at the helm of the Sockers. His 6th All-Star game, 4th for him as a head coach. He's 2-1 so far with wins in 86 and 89.
He's looking to have his troops just hang in there for a couple more minutes as they have that 2-goal lead.
The crowd is intently watching this one with a minute 51 to go. The West on top 5-3. They led by a 3-1 count at the half. Savage with a 3rd quarter goal made it close. But right now the difference in this game, that 21-second explosion with Gary Heel from George Fernandez scoring at 13:30 of the 3rd quarter, and then Branko Segota from Zoran Karic at 13:51 for a 5-2 lead. Mitchell with a shootout in this period, and it stands at 5-3. Less than 2 minutes to go.
Those goals by Heel and Segota, the 2 quickest ever in MISL All-Star history.
Sobieski and Clavillo. Sobieski with a long ball, right wing. Tattoo pulls it down. West would like a little ball control here. The East has to be physical. Tattoo had Michael Sweeney step in front of him, but the call will go with the West. So it was Tattoo with control, Sweeney with the foul.
Sweeney complaining because he thinks he played it fairly. I thought he did. He stepped in on Tattoo and won the ball, and it was actually Tattoo who I thought fouled him. DiPolito had a different angle on it. He's closer to it. He saw it the other way.
Clavillo for Quinn, who plays it in, rejected there by Sweeney. Then he bumps it up the floor. Jan Goossens. Back at midfield. 21 is Carl Valentine. Kim ROENTVED approaching the red line with a minute 20 remaining. Mitchell looking to center. Back to ROENTVED, who's got that big shot. It was deflected wide. Mitchell gets the rebound, tries to center. Blocked by Clavijo, who's played a great game here tonight. Valentine, right side. Looking to center was Sweeney. Still digging in the corner. 1 minute to go in the All-Star game. A whistle and a foul that'll belong to the East. They've got to get a quick one here. Oskevy centers. Knocked down. Valentine looking to shoot. He scores! Carl Valentine makes it a 5-4 game with 55 seconds to go.
Valentine wouldn't take no for an answer. He was fed the ball by Oskevy. But tremendous individual effort here. He's under some heavy pressure from 2 defenders. Manages to still get the shot off, and he roofs it. He puts it up high over Sobieski's left shoulder. Sobieski didn't really get a good look at it. But a great shot by Valentine, but even better the work that it took for him to get into the open to make the shot.
Carl Valentine with the goal. His first as an All-Star. Unassisted at 14:05 of the 4th quarter, and a 1-goal game. Oskevy working on Clavillo, who centers it across. We had a whistle and a foul before the shot. It'll belong to the East. 10,293 watching tonight here in San Diego. They have been entertained in a 5-4 ball game.
They've been into the game the whole way.
Valentine for Mitchell. Back to Valentine, and Crow with the block. Here's ROENTVED on the left wing in the corner. Centering Mitchell, ball in front. A shot, save, rebound, save. Valentine had the second chance. It'll be against the East and belong to the West on the restart.
Doc Lawson may have saved the game there for his West team. That rebound shot, he's the only one that covered the goal.
Here's Segota down the left wing. Man open right side. Ingram, and he he'll shoot it wide. Segoda's rebound wouldn't go in. 15 seconds to go.
Well, this action has just typified the whole game. These guys have not held back one out. They're giving it everything they've got, and they're giving the fans just some tremendous entertainment.
9 seconds left. The East with one more chance. Borja shooting. It's wide. ROENTVED the rebound. It might have hit his own player, Mobilio, to go out of bounds with 3 seconds to go. It looks like the West will hold on. To 4, favor of the West. 3 seconds to go. The East needs a miracle steal and an even bigger miracle of a shot. Scooped. They get the shot. Mitchell hit the crossbar as the game comes to a close. Dale Mitchell within inches of tying the game as the West holds on to win.
Right down to the wire. Sobieski looking ever so relieved. But here's what we'll see. Along the boards, the ball's worked loose. Mitchell does well to turn. He gets it up over Sobieski. Sobieski may have just touched it slightly, but that ball misses from going in just by maybe a half an inch.
Kenny Cooper's team on the short end of a 5-4 score here in San Diego tonight. The 1990 Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Game has been brought to you by Union Jacks, the official uniform supplier of the Major Indoor Soccer League, and by Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats is the only one you need. A final word from San Diego as the West wins it 5-4. We'll wrap it up in a moment.
And the Total Sports Network.
By inches, the West holds on to win 5-4 tonight, and our player of the game is San Diego's defender George Fernandez in his all-star debut with a goal and an assist tonight, Ty, and what a great night in his home building for him.
We'll talk about a guy who had his heart and soul into this game. He was fighting and battling every second that he was out there and really proved it to his hometown fans that he deserved to be an all-star.
The crowd doesn't know it yet, but they're chanting George, a two-time All-American at Cal State Hayward. And the Unsung Hero Award of the '88 Championship Series, he will not go unsung for his efforts tonight. And Ty, your final thoughts on the game, a most intense battle that saw up and down action throughout the contest.
Everything that you could have asked for was here. The intensity and the spirit and the tremendous skill, the unexpected moves, the heel ball by Chico Borja, just a great game.
That had to be the goal of the night as Chico Borja set up Bruce Savage for the game's most picturesque goal. So that'll do it from the San Diego Sports Arena, where the West All-Stars beat the East 5-4 in the 1990 Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Game. For three-time All-Star Ty Keogh, this is Bob Carpenter. This program a presentation of Bud Sports in cooperation with ESPN.